Brothers Live from the CX Therapy Studio, CX Therapy Special Edition.
Still rocking to the music there. Julien, how are you this evening? How's Paris? What's new?
Good morning, Max. I'm doing great. The summer weather is back. I don't have anything to whine about today, but I still felt like, the other day I had a story and I felt like you had a lot on your shoulders you had to share. So I thought, what about having another special edition, just the two of us?
This is the closing of the final chapter of a saga. I'm excited to share this one. This is the end of the dryer story. So,
okay.
Just a little bit of rehash. Our dryer, we have a 25-year-old dryer, and when it was 20-ish, I discovered that there was a fuse that if you took out, beauty of YouTube, found a little YouTube video, if you took it out and then you slammed it on the ground, it would reset the fuse. So that was the first story, is just how proud I was that I figured that out. That then evolved to it starting to happen more and more. And at one point, my wife took over. She learned how to do the fuse thing. She ultimately replaced the heating element in there. And everything got running again. But it started monthly, it would need to be reset, and then weekly, it would need to be reset. And this required pulling out the dryer, climbing over behind it, and I was starting to get really bitter about the whole thing. And Joy, my wife, I think got it, but she was also kind of enjoying that she was able to fix the thing so well. So then at one point, it just plain old, it wasn't heating anymore. I was on a business trip, of course, when this happens. So she was out there with the leaf blower blowing out from from the dryer to the outside of the house, blowing out that, and turned out there was like this much stuff in there, which probably ultimately was the core of why this thing died. But so she did that, and it didn't matter anymore. You'd fix it and it would do about half a load, and then it would just go. So it was ready and truly dead. So now we shift into buying, and it was a set washer and dryer. So, okay, we're going to buy, after 25 years, we're going to buy a new washer dryer.
Fair.
My wife and her sister-in-law are very passionate about going out and figuring out the best deal and everything. So they did a bunch of research, picked the ones they wanted, and got them ordered. And one of the things they did was they found a place that had, I forget if it was free or really cheap delivery. So, and that, with the overall price, that brought it down. It was the exact model we wanted. And, now that we have it, washer dryer are wonderful. I had no idea how small our washer and dryer were until we got the new one. So the big day comes and they arrive. It's delivery day, and I'm actually home, but I was in the middle of a meeting. So somebody else was home kind of dealing with the delivery people. But I came down right as the washing machine was unveiled, and there was a crack in the top panel where the control is. And the guy's like, well, you can accept this, but if you do, and there's something damaged in there, it's your problem. It's not our problem. So obviously we didn't accept it. Back it goes. So fortunately, that was the washing machine, not the dryer. But they haggled the person who was here. They said, okay, we cannot install just the dryer. We have to install both machines at the same time. And if you install it, it'll invalidate your warranty. It's just like, yeah. So yeah, that's the exact response. It's like, oh my, seriously? So they left, and of course, it was 7-8 weeks until we got one, because now instead of, you know, when you buy one, you're a high priority person because they got to say, yeah, we're going to get it to you within this time. But once there's something like that and it's a restock, your priority goes way down. So now we had to wait like 8 weeks. Not installing the dryer lasted like an hour. I'm like, no, I'm putting this thing in. So I went ahead and, you know, I didn't place it perfectly or any of that, but I got it in, and we had the new dryer, and that was lovely. And then eventually the time came, and I even went through the dance. I shouldn't have, but I went through the dance of unhooking the dryer, putting it out so it looked like we never installed it, which is just stupid on my part, but I did anyway. And they showed up, and this time, since everything was okay, it got installed right away. And now we have our wonderful new washer and dryer. So please, God, let me never have another dryer story over the next 25 years. But that's my story. I've been excited because it's the last chapter. A, it's the last chapter of something, and B, there was a lot of pain to work through.
All right. So first, well, I'm glad there's a happy ending here. However, so sorry I have to be the one bringing it to you, but new dryers just do not last 25 years. So chances are it's probably the chapter for the few years to come, but I guess there's going to be another episode at some point. I didn't know where you were going with that thing, because it's actually a little bit of a delivery issue, which makes me somehow happy that you're part of my world.
Issue.
And I mean, there's a lot of lack of empowerment and lack of critical thinking and lack of ability to deviate from the original script and think for yourself and this kind of thing in that issue here. Which is already pretty bad when it's in a contact center. But I think when it's about a delivery that already took, what did you say, 7 to 8 weeks? And how many more weeks did you have to wait for the replacement to come?
No, so the initial delivery was quick. The initial delivery was, I mean, it was a week or two, but it wasn't bad. There was just enough waiting, so it was really exciting when it finally showed up.
But ultimately, 8 to 10 weeks to get it to work. Wow. I mean, when you know that your decision, I know you're following the script, I know you have guidelines, but when you know that your decision is going to impact your customer that bad for the next many weeks, is there really nothing you can do about it? Can't you call your manager? Maybe you can't make the decision yourself. That I understand. But don't tell me there is absolutely nothing you can do to try to get it to work. I would not believe that.
Well, I mean, I don't want them to try to get that to work because it was damaged and it was brand new. The last thing I want is to accept a damage.
No, but they could have set up the second one. I mean, the whole problem was not that it's broken.
The ridiculousness that they're not setting up the dryer is just mind-boggling. It's like, come on, how much is that going to cost you? How is that? You know, and that you're right. That is where the rules on those guys, you know, he had some arcane, well, we're only allowed to install things once because it's just like, no, you brought a broken thing. You do this and you fix this. That was off the wall.
Worst case scenario, if you really can't, then set it up temporarily and in 8 weeks come back with a full set. Remove the one you've set up and install 2 brand new stuff. I mean, it's your problem. You broke it. What have I done as a customer besides paying what I had to pay? That I haven't done nothing wrong. So again, I understand they have a script. I understand they may not be empowered, but how much does it take to actually call your manager and say, look, this is common sense. Help me out here. And that's really what's lacking, right?
So it's worse than that, actually. You're reminding me of a piece of this I left behind. So this was in third-party outsourced delivery company.
Ah, I hate that.
So, and of course they were like, well, one of the guys like, next delivery, what are we doing? We can't spend this time here. They were giving us another company to call to find out about when we can get another one. And of course, couldn't get anyone there. So there was, I don't think we got a hold of them while the guys were there. I don't think we got a hold of the people who were going to get the new one until after they left, because they were pretty much, once that was broken, they're like, all right, we're out of here. We got to go to the next one. And, some of this is you get what you pay for. It was, free delivery was something we were prioritizing, and I forget if it was free or super cheap, but either way. So guess what the company does? They give it away, and I'm not excusing it. I'm just observing it.
Yeah, but I mean, you got free delivery because they offered free delivery, not because you picked a checkbox saying, I want the shittiest delivery on earth. And I'm okay.
Please abuse me, please.
Right? I mean, I understand. I mean, we've talked about deliveries a billion times. I understand that you don't really have control over this kind of stuff, and shit happens. That I get. But
right.
If you really can't control the deliveries, there's still things you can do. First, you can have case-by-case situation, like, what about if half of the load is broken? What happens in this situation? That should not be for the delivery guy to figure it out. There should be, a solution to impact immediately. What if the customer has questions? There should be a special phone number with someone who's going to be available during the delivery, not 6 days later, to answer this kind of questions. I mean, there should be a process around. It just can't be an excuse. And your story is actually incredibly timely, because I started subscribing to a repair package literally 7 or 8 days ago. My microwave just died after 12 years of very good service. And actually, the microwave isn't dead. It's just not functioning well anymore. And I've subscribed to a package because I checked, okay, to replace this microwave is going to cost me about $250. But I found a package online that if I pay $12, $15 roughly a month, I have someone who could come to repair any of my big appliances. So it's not going to be for my phone, but it's going to be for the AC, the oven, the microwave, this kind of stuff. They would come for free, repair it for free, replace the main pieces free of charge. It's part of my package. And it would cost me less than $200 a year instead of buying a brand new microwave for $250. So I thought, fantastic. I signed up for that. Then the story started, because immediately after I signed up, on the next day on the same day I tried to register the appliance. It doesn't work. You have to wait for 24 hours, and I start registering it. Then I get a phone call. Then they tell me, okay, we're going to schedule someone to come to your home. First availability is 2 weeks from now. Like, okay, it starts very well. And the appointment was supposed to be tomorrow. I've received a message this morning saying, whatever piece we need to replace, we don't have in stock right now. We'll call you later to arrange another meeting. The one for tomorrow is canceled. So, yeah, I mean, I think consumers want to have... We don't want to be consumers, meaning we don't want to consume all the time. You seem to be happy with your 25 years old dryer. If it could have worked for another 10 years, you would have preferred that than replacing it.
Changed, yeah.
I think people are willing to repair things, but companies are just not making it easy. And even when you buy something new, they don't make it easy to deliver, apparently. So there's something really wrong here.
Yeah, there's I have a beard trimmer. And one of the little things to control the height, I lost. It cost me more to buy a replacement than to buy a new beard trimmer. Just a little piece of plastic. It's.
But that's the same thing with printers, right? I don't know how it is in the US, but my printer is probably $20, while the cartridge, the ink, is roughly $18 a piece. So
yeah,
it would actually be cheaper, because they offer the first cartridge with a printer. It would almost be cheaper to buy a new printer every time I need to print something. There are plenty of things like that just don't really make much sense to me. But how do you feel? Do you feel any better telling your story?
I have two things that strike me. One is I do feel better. It's helpful to get it off. Two is, given the way we're jumping on here, I think we do need to do our little offline ones of these a little bit more often. We've got some pent up angst that we need to be working through here.
I could not agree more. Hey, maybe at some point we need to invite your wife as well, because it seems that now with the new dryer, she's not allowed to play with the fuse anymore. So there might be a need for therapy.
That's a good point. Well, I'll talk to her about that. Maybe we'll have her on. We'll do a special spouse edition.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you very much, Max. I don't tell you see you next week because I don't know when the next special edition is going to be. But thank you for the story and looking forward to catching up again soon.
Yeah, thank you. I do feel better and always a pleasure. Take care.